everyone stays on top, but we get a catch and carry in Katie's one on Little Water, bringing us to the 26th. The lower pictures from a week later when the other half of the path slides. This is from a storm that starts February 1st. We get 8 to 10 inches of snow. The snowpack hangs on the first day. We get 3 inches overnight. We think we're going to make it through this one. However, the 3 inches is 15% snow accompanied with extreme westerly winds. We leave the locker room on the 2nd to start mitigation. See, the scales have been tipped totally once again. Hard slabs that were created earlier in the week are totally taken out. Same dimensions, same paths as what initially slid. High Dutch actually hangs on for another week when we get a week of heating between these two storms. Unfrozen temps overnight. The next storm begins with graupel onto an unfrozen pack, creating more step-down avalanches, and the second cycle ends now with larger human-triggered slides. We get a double burial just outside of our rope line in 99, an accident in East Bowl and Silver Fork, which has slid a few times this year already, and then in Cardiac Ridge, a skier barely makes it off a collapsing slab, bringing us to February 10th, and that result mirrors the avalanche from 5 weeks earlier exactly. It's right now in the season, with so much variation from path to path in each drainage, that this quote from, it's actually Titus, I just found out, sums up perfectly what's going on. Thinks, Grom, it's not the tale of two snowpacks, but it's one snowpack with many chapters, and right now local backcountry skiers are having trouble keeping track of which chapter each path is currently in. This brings us to Valentine's Day, a 24-inch storm. Now, between these large loading events that are too heavy for the snowpack to handle anyway, the surface snow continues to weaken in high pressure. What's a small surface faceting and thick terrain becomes a totally new PWL in the repeater sites and really just keeps this problem going. A small amount of surface faceting is just totally exacerbated in a repeater site. Anyway, Valentine's Day 24-inch storm, this time only 3 of our initial paths slide with the wall-to-wall results. That's only about a third as far as the Park City Ridgeline goes. Square Top hangs on for another few days when we get 1 more inch of water, and this single result, large, over a meter deep crown, but this thing goes from a wall-to-wall slide to now just R2 in width. Looking at the 2 profiles from the starting zone, totally looking like reactivity is going to be possible in late February. Super stout crust, less than fist-hard facets on top, ready to collapse with more loading. That never really comes, unfortunately, but the snow surrounding these more narrow avalanches is becoming a 2-meter healing pack here. So this is our last PWL slide, and it does really look like reactivity could be possible again there. This is the other end of the spectrum, what our smaller paths look like that are so weak that you can't even walk across them with ski boots on, and this is early March, totally looking like we should have some more reactivity here as well. Oh, sorry, and then the snow surrounding the control sample, kind of the snow on the sides, a 2-meter healing pack there. This thing's not going to get any wider, that's for sure. This brings us to March 8th when, in Park City, 3 of our weakest repeaters released storm slabs. They fail on a facet crust combo created a week earlier on March 2nd. What we find is that thick terrain can either round the facets in throughout the week to make them unreactive, or it just doesn't contain the weak layer entirely. But on the other, across the Camas Valley on Hoyt Peak, another thin snowpack with multiple unhealed weak layers and another step-down avalanche with February facets being the main culprit. We do the heli mitigation on this in our 6-pound shots, re-expose the weak layers that were created in the fall and early winter. Looking at the pictures from exactly a month earlier, this just shows a thin pack, rocks sticking out, 2 small sensitive slides, letting us know this path is going to be headed for more reactivity with more loading. So how do we get through this? How do we make it through March and into open season? Well, we finally get some storms the snowpack can hang on to. They're separated by corn cycles, and really we avoid any intense precip. Those 3 storms, that March 8th, it's 10 to 12 inches. Most paths keep that snow, like I said. Then we get a good corn cycle for a little over a week. Then 1 more storm, 2 inches of water, 48 hours. Each 12-hour period has a perfect half inch of water. The loading couldn't have been spread out any better. Then a quick warm up again, but with good freezes. One more storm, 3 12-hour periods, up to 7/10 of an inch of water for each one. Perfect increase in loading, and the loading was spread out perfectly once again. This lets the PWLs finally gain a meter depth above them and finally begin to heal. From the starting zones, from mid-February into March, we notice a ton of inconsistent data. Different snow heights, more or less healed weak layers, different structure and a wide variety of tap test results, even with different layers failing in our weakest of repeater paths still. And this really lets us know those PWLs were losing connectivity as they were trending to becoming dormant and unreactive. This is what North Pole looks like as it goes from releasing the storm slab on March 8th on that 3-2 crust, still with unhealed PWLs below it. Those are reactive when we go to investigate the day after, when we can't recreate this avalanche. Then 11 days and 2 storms later, looking much better with a meter of depth above the PWLs, and we finally see the snow transition to 1-finger rounds and begin to heal. It's going to take a large storm to wake this up now. Now on the 21st, we've gone a month since our last avalanche. The UAC takes the P-slab problem off the forecast, leaves a normal verbiage for something like this. Reactivity is still possible with intense heating or intense loading, specifically repeater locations or other extreme terrain. Looking at the profiles on the left from High Dutch, this slid twice, 2-meter pack, totally fine. But on the right, this is from the Nutty Putty snow fence area, mid-pack facets. It does show propagation on a tap test, but it's shot with 2 2s and a 4-pound air blast under that. No result, letting us know those PWLs are really losing connectivity. Then this brings us to the 25th, and another heat wave. An unintentional cornice drop triggers this massive slide. Extreme terrain, super outliner result, and our only persistent slab to warm up during this time in the whole Wasatch. The main thing here too, the lower bowl that slid multiple times throughout the year finally stays put, letting us know healing, or just releases a new snow slide, letting us know healing has taken place in all but the most extreme of terrain. Temps cool to the low teens as the next storm comes in, it locks up the snowpack, and we are over this problem. So final slide, we'll wrap this up, compare PWLs from the last 2 seasons as they trend to becoming dormant and unreactive. Final slide. Characteristic or behavior during initial loading event, same for each year. Large wall-to-wall slides, main thing being avalanche sites filled in immediately 2 years ago. Repeaters were not existent, that strong slab could build up and begin to heal. Time since last avalanches. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, February, we're a month from our last slides. Last year, we're in it. We've just seen both monitors fail a foot above the ground. Square Top has a huge result. Profiles are looking like reactivity is going to be possible. Time since last loading event. 2 years ago, February, we're getting these nice incremental storms that strengthen the slab and heal the snowpack. Last year in February, we're getting these large random loading events that are too heavy for the snowpack to handle. Surface snow weakens between them, and that's exacerbated in the repeater sites. Then, slab depth above weak layer and hardness. After mid-January, 2 years ago, we immediately see over a meter, pencil hard rounds form. The weak layer is forced to heal. Last year, we have no snow above the PWL, and any snow that's there facets in high pressure anyway. We really have to go back to that 3rd week of March to answer these final 4 questions more confidently. So we're finally a month from our last slides. So we finally get some storms the snowpack can hang on to. It finally lets a meter of slab gain above the PWLs, and we finally see some healing. That's also when we notice the wide variety of tap tests or inconsistent results coming from the starting zones, letting us know those PWLs were really losing connectivity. That's it. Thanks, everyone. Special shout out to the UAC and AAA for giving forecasters platforms and encouragement for our research. Park City, Tofandi, our managers there. Thanks, guys, for the flexibility and encouragement. And then our small group at Canyon Snow Safety. Really appreciate your help, and a few people from the summer. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Do we have any questions for Mike? Right down here. Run, Maddie, run.
Thank you for the presentation. Is there any, will this be written up in tar?
Yeah, good question.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be out.
I would like to digest it more.
Oh, say that last part.
What did he say? Go slow?
I would just like to digest it more, have more time with it.
Totally. Yeah. And we, like if you wanted to see the paper before editing, the shorter version, whatever works. I'll be around today. And then, yeah, it'll be out in 44 too.
Any other questions for Mike? It's hard to see. All right. Well, thank you so much for everything.
Nice.
One more round of applause for Mike Craig.